Okay, so final week of ORAS Premier League. And we're facing a Heatran Megazam team. Venusaur can be good here. Actually, no, Venusaur isn't that good. Cofagrigus I like for setting T-Spikes on the Zam. I could also potentially knock off the Heatran. Paralyzing stuff also seems good, with, like, Chansey. Ideally, I would be paralyzing Clef, but I don't know how likely that is. Do I just leave Drill? Because I think versus me, you're most likely to lead Rotom Wash. And I think most of the time you'd switch out. If you have Defog, it's on Scarm. So I do like the idea of getting hazards up. I think I'm just going to go with Drill. A Clefable lead. Depending on how things go, my Keldeo could be really good. I almost want to click Iron Head on this. I think I'm just gonna go for the Stealth Rocks, though. Goes into Skarmory. I can go into Cofagrigus and click Knockoff. That seems like a pretty good play that would get me value. He could be like Sticky Hold Gastro, but that's not the best switch-in. Could also go like Chansey if I really want to, but I don't think that's the best play, so I'm just going to go into the Coffin. As he spikes, would you be Spikes and Defog? I'm not really sure. I'm just going to go... I could go for a T-Spike. But that could mean that the Clefable cannot get paralyzed, or the Zam cannot get paralyzed, and those things are pretty good for me, so I think I'm just going to go for the knock. It's a Choice Scarf Trick Clefable, okay. So you're probably, Trick, Soft Boiled, Moonblast, and maybe Stealth Rock or Thunder Wave. I don't really want him to take something. So I could go to my Venusaur. I could also see him going to Heatran here. I feel like overall, it's a bit better to get T-Spikes up. It goes for the Moonblast. Would you go for another Moonblast? Because I don't know, I wouldn't want you tricking away, say, Drill's leftovers. Goes for another one. He could go into Heatran here. I think he will, honestly. He goes first. that kind of sucks. I can try to get him on the EQ here, but he's probably just going to go to Scarm. I think I'm going to click Earthquake just in case. Okay, can go Zapdos here, which will force in Clefable. Seems decent to me. Yeah, I'll just go for Discharge. Poisoning Gastro is fine. You could just be going for Scalds and stuff. I'll just go Chansey. And I think here is where he's going to go to Clefable, so I can go to Drill. He went for another Scald? What? Alright. That was not good. That was an overprediction. Alright. I could Heal Bell here. He could trick me. And that's always going to be a threat. Now I can at least go for the Synthesis. Heatran's going to come out though. Probably goes for Rocks. Just goes for a Lava Plume. And I think I'm actually going to go for a Calm Mind here. Because if he goes Clefable, that's honestly okay with me. Because if Clef goes down, that makes my Chansey a lot better. So I think I go for a Scald here. Goes for his own Calm Mind. That's kind of tough. I could go into Excadrill and go for a spin. Or I could risk the taunt. I think I can go for a taunt here. Okay, I did get him on that. And I'm just gonna go for 2 Sacred Swords. In case he wants to make some type of cheeky switch. You wouldn't also be Scarf, right? Oh. He was. I do manage to KO the Rotom. Double Scarf trick is kind of crazy. I thought he'd be Rocky Helmet or something. Maybe that was premature of me. Nonetheless, my Zapdos looks really good now. I can go into my Skarmory. I don't think so. I'll go for one Secret Sword, because keeping this thing low is good. Here, I could see him going into Gastro. What do I want to do about that, though? I'll just discharge. Getting a pair on Heatran would be pretty great. Okay, I do. I'm gonna discharge again. I'll do it again. And now the main thing that we have to worry about is like that Alakazam. So you shouldn't want to stay in here. I could go out into Zapdos again. And here I think it's probably time to just sack the Coffin. Or Venusaur. Venusaur, I'll sack the Coffin. Venusaur can at least serve some purpose. I go into this now, and I'm going to click Seismic Toss. Heatran goes down, that's good. Now I'm going to go into Excadrill and clear the hazards. Would you stay in here? I don't think so. Zapdos, I can just go for a Roost. Do I ever want to click? No, I don't think so. I was gonna suggest like making it double, but I don't think it's necessary. His win con is definitely Clefable. But I do have Venusaur. I'm just gonna keep clicking Seismic Toss until he burns me, then I'll heal Bell. Soft boiled up. Because my Venusaur should always be able to check the Clefable, but Zam will always check Venusaur, and hazards are never getting off. Skarm comes in. That's honestly fine. I'm just gonna Thunder Wave it, I think. I can fish for a para here. That'd be really good. Goes for a Whirlwind into Venu, which is not what I wanted to see. I'll just Synth. Oh, he can't really hit me. I can go for 1 Giga just to see. Okay, luckily I get a crit. That's pretty fortunate. I can sack, how much is, because like a Calm Mind could be a threat here. I'll sack Drill. Gotta go Chansey. Now, a lot of these actually are Taunt or Encore, and that is what's threatening. Now I'm gonna Soft Boiled. He could just be Recover Zam, which I think is the most threatening. He's Encore. Alright. Would you be Encore Recover? Zapdos. I'm gonna force you to Mega if you want to KO me. Although if you're not Recover, I think Roost is just the better play here. It just kind of covers everything. Like, I don't want to discharge if he goes Gastrodon. And Mono Psychic plus Focus Blast seems kind of like a bad Zam set, so I think I'm gonna say he's not Recovered. Mike Keldeo can KO him here, which is funny. I could go Keldeo and go for a Sacred Sword, honestly. That actually sounds like a good play. Because then if he leaves this in, Venusaur wins. Eats that hit just fine. I'll just go into Chansey and save this. Now I can just go Venu. And I can go for Sludge Bombs here. Now I go into Chansey. I think I always... I think I always go for the Seismic here. I can Growth. And now I Sludge. And I think I win. Good game. That was an interesting one. A double Scarf trick from my opponent. And I'll see you guys in playoffs.
Hey guys, I'm going to be going over my game for the semifinals of ORASPL because I could not record this one live. So we're just going to go over the replay. So I've got a Zard Y team, and he's got a Sand team. Now Zard Y can threaten him quite a bit, but I do not have Focus Blast on this one, so hitting T-Tar is going to be very difficult. I have Hidden Power Ice instead for like Garchomps and Landos and stuff. Conkeldurr looks okay. Lando, if it's Rocky Helmet, is kind of an issue. Weavile looks good, and Slowbro is really necessary to check his Metagross. Now on his side, Metagross and Keldeo are going to be the main threats, as well as continuous pressure from rocks, which makes life very difficult for my Zard Y. So let's get into the game. Alright, I'm going to lead with Zard, and he leads with T-Tar. I immediately go out into Drill, and he misses a Rock Slide. Now that tells me he's probably A-V-Tar. It's mainly A-V-Tar that run that. And I am just going to get my rocks up and go right back out into Charizard. Keldeo comes in. I was thinking he might stay in and go for a Rock Tomb or something, so I went for my Hidden Power Ice. In hindsight, Flamethrower might have been a bit better, but of course I do not want to stay in on that Keldeo, so I'm going to go into my AV Conkeldurr. He goes Amoonguss, and I hit that thing with an Ice Punch. Now, I think he's going to go into Metagross here. He's not going to want to let his Amoonguss get KO'd. And Metagross does indeed come in. And I have an answer to this. This is Slowbro. So he's going to Mega and crit Thunder Punch, which is really, really tough because now I don't really have a switch into Metagross. I'm kind of forced to go Heatran. He goes for Hammer Arm, which does lower his speed enough to the point where Heatran can outspeed and KO with an Earth Power. And this is where the trouble starts, because Keldeo comes in, and I only really have this Conkeldurr for this Keldeo. And Landorus is going to come in, and I go for the Drain Punch and get chipped by the Rocky Helmet. So already, it's looking really, really tough. I'm kind of forced to pivot into my Zard because nothing else can take on Lando, and Keldeo with Rock's pressure is going to be really, really tough for me. Now, I also see that he's probably choiced. Okay, Landorus comes in again, and this time I get it on the Ice Punch, but by this point it's almost too late. And I try to keep my Conkeldurr alive there for like a Mach Punch endgame, but it doesn't really work out. He just ends up Earthquaking and getting 2 KOs, and by this point it's kind of over. It's at least looking very, very grim, because I need my Slowbro to check his Excadrill. but it's going to have an extremely tough time actually getting slack-offs. So because I can't switch Slowbro directly in, I basically have to hope Slowbro can do everything at this point. So yeah, Amoonguss comes in, he clicks Spore, I'm still asleep, and he has Giga Drain, which if I recall correctly, I was Psychic on this Slowbro, so there was like a small chance if he got parried a bunch of times and didn't have Giga Drain, like if he had Clear Smog or something, but that's not going to be how it works out, and Keldeo is just going to come in and win the game. So I was pretty dominant in the beginning, but when things really took a turn is when he used Thunder Punch on my Slowbro, which was an excellent prediction, and I got crit. That was really, really rough, because now I don't really have a Lando check. Heatran gets chipped a ton, Keldeo claims a KO, I go into Conkeldurr, and the second critical moment is when I do not predict the Lando coming in and I Drain Punch. I think in this position I could have gone into Weavile and clicked Icicle Crash. That would have been a really good prediction, but at this point it's really, really tough with my Slowbro being low and his Landorus being high, so my Conkeldurr has a difficult time getting through, and at this point he's just able to chip me. I tried to save Conkeldurr here, maybe he went for a U-turn or switch out or something there, but yeah, it's not really going to work out. And yeah, that Weavile sack right there was probably unnecessary. Maybe I could have like kept sack Excadrill or something instead of and keeping Conkeldurr. But still, then his Excadrill with Rocks Up would have been really, really scary. Another thing I could have done would have just been to sack Weavile anyway and get Slowbro in and try to go for the slack-offs, but that endgame still would have been difficult with his Amoonguss clicking Spore and his Keldeo with Hidden Power, as well as the Sand Chip on the Conkeldurr. So overall, just a tough game, and yeah. However, my team did very, very well, and we did make it to finals. So I will be seeing you all again for my finals game of ORASPL. All right, have a good day.